What's up, bullish friends? Hope you guys are doing well today. And man, what another good story coming out from RFK Jr. and something I want to talk about today. And I know you guys have liked some of the previous videos I did on RFK Jr. And the one thing I will say before I jump into this, love him or hate the guy, no matter what you think, the guy understands and gets crypto. He understands the use case for crypto and the importance. So check this article out. So RFK Jr. announces bold plan to back the dollar with Bitcoin and end Bitcoin taxes. All right, now, what intrigues me right off the get-go with this is backing the dollar with Bitcoin, because obviously our dollar right now, backed by nothing. So it's better to have it at least backed by something. And ever since we came off the gold standard, we haven't been backed by anything. So let's dive into this article. I think there's some interesting stuff in here, and I want to read this to you guys and get your opinion as well as we go through. So check this out. Speaking at a Heal the Divide PAC event, Democratic presidential candidate Robert F. Kenndey Jr. outlined specific Bitcoin-focused policies that he would enact as president, including gradually backing the U.S. dollar with Bitcoin and making Bitcoin profits exempt from capital gains taxes. My plan would be to start very, very small. Perhaps 1% of issued T-bills would be backed by hard currency, by gold, silver, platinum, or Bitcoin, Kenndey said, describing his vision for returning to a hard currency standard in the U.S. He added that depending on the outcome of the initial step, he would increase the allocation annually. This potential policy reimagines the financial system, pointing to a future where Bitcoin's absolute scarcity and the sound monetary principles reinforce the U.S. dollar's eroding position as the world's currency. Backing dollars and U.S. debt obligations with hard assets could help restore strength back to the dollar, rein in inflation, and usher in a new era of American financial stability, peace, and prosperity, he declared. In addition, Kenndey announced his administration will exempt the conversion of Bitcoin to the U.S. dollar from capital gains taxes. Okay, that's an interesting point, because if you're making the conversion from Bitcoin to the U.S. dollar, exempting the capital gains taxes, that's an interesting point. The benefits include facilitating innovation and spurring investment, ensuring citizen privacy, incentivizing ventures to grow their business, and tech jobs in the United States rather than in Singapore, Switzerland, Germany, and Portugal, he added. Non-taxable events are unreportable, and that means it will be more difficult for governments to weaponize currency against free speech, which, as many of you know, is one of my principal objectives. During his announcement, Kenndey reiterated a slew of commitments he made to foster Bitcoin adoption during a speech at the Bitcoin 2023 conference in May, which included defending the right of self-custody of Bitcoin, upholding the right to run a node at home, and defending industry-neutral regulation of energy. And I covered that before in a past video, and I will link that in the description below because it's actually a really good conference. He put out some really good points during that conference, so it's a good watch if you haven't watched that in the past. Kenndey framed his commitments to Bitcoin as integral to the ideas of his uncle, President John F. Kennedy, and his own vision for governing a free and equitable country. My uncle, President Kennedy, when he was in office, understood the importance of a hard currency and the dangers of having pure fiat currency with no other option, Kenndey said. He understood the relationship between fiat currency and war, fiat currency and very, very destructive environmental projects, and also these giant aggregations of wealth and the unbalance, the disparities in wealth that are ultimately the ultimate yield of every fiat currency. So I'm going to end the article, reading the article with this. This is a quote from RFK Jr. during his speech. Fiat currency was invented to fund wars. I like base currencies because they make it more difficult. You have to go to the public. You can't just print money to fund the war and tax the public through the hidden tax of inflation. You actually have to go to the public and say, here's what this war is going to cost. Now, he made some interesting points there, and I'm not going to pretend that I like every single thing about RFK Jr. because I don't. In fact, in the U.S. here, there's not a single presidential candidate or a single person who I would give my full, undying support to. It just doesn't exist. But he makes some very valid points with a lot of the stuff he's saying, especially when he's talking about Bitcoin and about other cryptocurrencies. He really knows his stuff there, and he's on point. And out of all the people who are running for president, he seems to understand what cryptocurrency is all about. He like really seems to get it. And hey, could he be saying it just for votes? Maybe. But look, all politicians are probably doing that at some point. But I think he seems to mean well, and he seems to know what he's talking about. Now, earlier today, I covered some stuff on the Fednow system, and go watch that video. I'll put a link in the description for that as well. But I covered, what is going on with Fednow, and when you see something like Fednow coming out and a potential world coin coming out, the stuff that RFK Jr. is saying is starting to make a lot more sense. It makes a lot of sense about our currency and about what our dollar is backed with and things like that. And I think worldwide, because I know a lot of you guys in the audience aren't from the US, but I do think a strong reserve currency for the world is helpful. Whether or not that's going to be the US, I don't think ultimately matters, but backing the dollar here by something other than nothing is something I'm willing to at least listen to, and being backed by nothing is seemingly not working. So anyway, guys, that's all I've got for this video. If you liked it, give me a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts on RFK Jr. Tell me your thoughts on crypto. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think he has some valid points here, or do you think this is just a bunch of crap? So let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video.